Hello everyone, I'm Akash Srivastav and today I'm here with a very interesting topic for our Law Wednesday session. In today's session, we are going to discuss about cyber crimes laws in India. So you must be wondering why exactly we are going to discuss cyber crimes. So nowadays, whenever you watch any particular news channel, whatever news you are watching, or if you are reading any particular news from the newspaper, this is one particular field of crime in which you see that daily you will find one or the two cases. There are a lot of documentaries also, a lot of cases are going on right now. So this is one of the most important topic when we talk about crimes. And when we talk about the relevancy of this particular topic for all the law entrance examination, again it is very important because when we talk about the stereotype papers, the paper setters used to set papers from tort law, criminal law, contract law. And the basic important pointers were getting repeated again and again. But nowadays, we have seen the trend in the last 2-3 years that they are focusing on new and contemporary laws. They are focusing on those laws that are the part of your current affairs. So in today's session, we are going to discuss what exactly cyber crimes are and the laws that govern cyber crimes in India. So let's start the session, guys. So first of all, before discussing what exactly a cyber crime is, you should be very much aware what exactly a crime is. So again, just to let you know, just to let everyone know that there is no fixed definition of crime. Crime is nowhere defined. When we talk about contract, when we talk about other laws also, there is a definition of it given over some there. But when we talk about crime specifically, there is no definition as such. So the general understanding of crime at your level will be crime as an unlawful act or omission. So unlawful basically means that is against the law. Either you are doing that particular activity or you're omitting to do the activity. So if there is any particular legal duty of yours, so if law is saying that you will have to follow this particular rule. For example, you will have to stop at the red light. This is the law. If you're not following it, then you are going against the law. That is, you can do by act or omission, which shocks the conscience of the society. So when we talk about crime and when we talk about civil law, this is one of the major difference between these two, that civil law basically happens against any particular individual. But when we talk about crime, it is happening against the whole society. It is shocking the conscience of the whole society, in respect to which legal punishment is inflicted. So what exactly happens if you're not following the law? There is a legal punishment inflicted on the person who is in default either by acting or omitting to act. So this particular legal punishment is inflicted on the person who have committed that particular act or omission that is unlawful in nature. So this is the general understanding of crime. Now let's move to what exactly cyber crime is. So cyber crime is any criminal activity that involves a computer, network, device or a network. So if it involves any of these three, then it would be termed as cybercrime. And according to Oxford Dictionary, cybercrime means criminal activities carried out by means of computers or the internet. This is a general understanding that what exactly cybercrime is, because when we talk about crimes, n number of definitions have been provided under IPC, that is Indian Penal Code, and cybercrime is that any criminal activity that involves computers or the internet. So now let's move further and discuss the laws that are governing cyber crimes in India. So earlier when we talk about crimes, so this is a very recent crime that happened in the last 20 years. It was not there earlier. So these are the few of the acts that govern cyber crimes. So the first and the most important act is IT Act. The second is IPC, that is Indian Penal Code. The third one is NDPS Act, and the last one is Arms Act. So the two major acts are IT Act and IPC, and the other two acts are governing a very small aspect of it. So let's discuss which all the sections, which all the provisions are there that have been provided for governing cyber laws. So when we talk about IT Act, so chapter 11 of IT Act talks about the offences. It talks about the important offences that can be committed when we talk about cybercrime. The first section is section 65, that is talking about tampering with computer documents. Section 66 is one of the most important section of IT Act that talks about 66A to 66F. It talks about the hacking with computer resources systems. We will be discussing this particular section in detail in further slides. Section 67 is talking about publishing obscene information. So you are displaying the information or you are sharing the obscene photos, that would be covered under section 67. Section 70 is talking about unauthorized access to protected systems. So if there is any particular protected system, you are authorized, you are not authorized to use that, but you are accessing it, then that would be covered under section 70. When we talk about section 72, it's breach of confidentiality and privacy. So if you are breaching the privacy of someone in the online mode using the computers or the internet, then that particular crime would be covered under section 72. And the last section is 73, that is talking about publishing false digital signature certificates. So this is one of the important aspects when we talk about today's commercial world. So if you're publishing false digital signature certificate, then that would be governed under Section 73 of IT Act. So let's discuss Section 66 in detail because this is one of the most important section. So Section 66A is talking about sending offensive messages through communication service. Section 67B is talking about dishonestly receiving stolen computer resource or communication device. Section 66C is talking about identity theft, and Section 66D is talking about cheating by personation by using computer resource. Section 66E is talking about violation of privacy, and Section 66F is talking about cyber terrorism. So these are the most important sections. We usually advise students that you should go through these particular sections in detail. You need to read about these particular offenses because that will give you a better picture of what exactly law is. So let's move ahead. Let's talk about IPC. So when we talk about IPC, this is the one particular substantive law that governs the criminal law in India, and there are major, a lot of sections have been defined which covers not exactly, earlier it was not only talking about the cybercrime, but now under the ambit of this particular definition, we are including the laws have included cybercrimes also. So when we talk about 383 is talking about extortion, but again it's not only talking about the cyber extortion, it's talking about extortion in general, and that would include if you are extorting someone, if you're doing this particular crime in the online format. Then 354 is talking about stalking. Again, this particular 350A, B, C have been added through amendment. Section 420 is talking about bogus website or cyber fraud. It's talking about fraud specifically, but it would also include that cyber fraud. Section 463 is talking about forgery by electronic record. This is one of the most important crime that is happening in today's world, that forgery. And if you're doing the forgery of electronic records, then that would be covered under Section 463. When we talk about Section 499, is talking about sending defamatory messages by email. So Section 499 talks about the defamation, and it also includes if you are sending the defamatory statement messages by email. And the last section, Section 503, is sending threatening messages by email. So these are the major crimes that are governed under IPC. The next act is NDPS Act. In NDPS Act, Chapter 4 talks about offences and penalties. So if you're involved in selling or buying of narcotic drugs in the online format, then you will be governed under Chapter 4 by the sections that are given in Chapter 4. So it is not specifically talking about buying and selling in the online format, but it would govern so. The next Act is Arms Act. So Section 25 talks about punishment for certain offences. It's a very lengthy section, and it talks about that if you're involved in buying or selling of arms in the online format through internet or through computer, then that would be governed under this particular section. So these are the four major acts that we're discussing about crimes that are governing the cyber crimes in India. So punishment, when we talk about punishment, what exactly is the punishment defined under these three acts? So when we talk about IT Act, imprisonment up to 10 years, this is the punishment. So it can start from 1 month to 10 years. When we talk about IPC, it's talking about 1 year to life imprisonment. When we talk about NDPS Act, it's 6 months imprisonment to death penalty. And when we talk about Arms Act, it's talking about 6 months to life imprisonment. So as you can see on my screen, that the punishment that have been defined for these crimes, cyber crimes, is on the higher side. So they're not taking this in a very light format, in a lenient format, but they want to curb this particular series of crime or area of crime. So that's why they have defined a very strict punishment for these. But now we have discussed about what exactly cybercrime is and which all laws are governing cybercrimes in India. But when we talk about how exactly you need to prevent yourself from cybercrimes, so we will be discussing that. But before that, we are going to discuss about a very important judgment, because when we talk about this particular judgment, you will find some of the other relevance in constitutional law also, in cyber law also. The name of the case is Shreya Singhal versus Union of India. This is a very landmark judgment when we talk about cyber law. Other judgments are also there, but the probability of this particular judgment being discussed in question paper is too high. So in this particular section, there was a conflict between freedom of speech that have been provided under Article 19 of Part 3 of the Constitution of India and the conflict with 66A of Information Technology Act, that is IT Act. So in this particular judgment, what exactly was said by the courts? They said that this particular section is going against the fundamental right, so it is not constitutionally valid, because what exactly happened in this particular matter, that two girls posted some piece of information. They were not very happy about the ban that happened in Maharashtra post Mr. Thackeray's death. So in that case, what exactly happened? So a case was filed against them that they are going against the country. So the major conflict was what is a thin line difference between freedom of speech and expression and the Section 66A that is talking about you cannot post anything offensive against the government. So in this particular judgment, it was decided that Section 66A of IT Act is not constitutionally valid and Article 19, Clause 1 will have a better hand. So this is one of the most important judgment. It is highly probable that you may find this particular judgment or the few paragraphs of this particular judgment in the question paper also. That's why it's very important to have a better idea of this judgment. So let's move ahead. Let's talk about steps to protect oneself from cybercrime, because we have discussed about what exactly cybercrime is and which all laws are governing cybercrimes in India. But it's very important that we need to see this particular topic from the exam point of view, also from the knowledge point of view also, but we also need to protect ourselves in today's world. So keep yourself updated with the ongoing crime. So whatever crimes is happening, whatever cybercrimes are happening in today's world, you need to be aware of it, because if you're not aware of it, then you can become the victim of it. Next one is a strong virus protection software. It's very important that whatever which all PC you use, whichever system you're using, you need to protect your system with a strong virus protection software. Keep your software updated. You can't be very lenient, because a lot of people are not very tech savvy. They don't take this very seriously, but you need to do so if you want to protect yourself from cyber crimes. Then use a secure internet connection. So this is also very important. Use strong password, because at times it happens that when we talk about hacking, then they target the passwords and can access your computer. So it's very important to keep a strong password. Be aware of pop-ups and fraudulent emails. Again, very important, because this is one of the major areas through which cyber crimes happens. And the last one is know the route to follow if you become the victim. So even if you're following all the precautionary measures, but again, if you become the victim in future by one of the other crimes, cyber crime, then in this case, it's very important you need to know the route, what exactly you need to do post that once you become the victim. So this was all with respect to today's session, guys. So in today's session, we discussed about what exactly crime is, what exactly cyber crimes is, what are the laws that are governing cyber crimes in India, a very important landmark judgment of Shreya Singhal versus Union of India, and last we discussed what are the steps that you need to follow to protect yourself from cyber crimes. This is all from today's one. Thank you very much.